We are just over a week away from the election. Of course, there is a lot of interest in this upcoming election. And with that, we would like to talk to Eric Fay. He is the Democratic Director of Elections for St. Louis County. Thank you for joining us, Eric. And, you know, with a lot of interest in this election, what kind of numbers are you seeing as far as mail-in ballots and absentee voting?
Well, we're seeing record numbers. There's a lot of election authorities across Missouri are. We have already more than doubled the amount of absentee and mail-in ballots we received in the 2016 presidential election. So it's just like everything else this year, it's unprecedented.
Well, there's obviously a lot of interest in this, and some people at home might be wondering, when are those ballots actually counted? Do you guys start to tally the mail-in ballots or the absentee ballots that are cast now, or do you actually wait until Election Day? What's the process?
Yeah, that's a question a lot of people have been asking because it's different all across the country. So in Missouri, the election authority can start opening the ballots 5 days before the election. So next Thursday, we'll bring in 40 bipartisan teams, 80 people, and they'll start going through all the ballots we've received by mail. They'll open them in bipartisan teams and inspect them, make sure everything's okay, and then they will start to be scanned. But we can't actually tabulate any votes until the polls close on election night. So it's important for people to know nobody here at the Board of Elections knows any results until after the polls close on election night.
All right, and one question we've had here in the newsroom, if you are planning to mail your ballot in, do you need to have that notarized, and when do you need to have that mailed to make sure your vote counts?
Yeah, we encourage people to mail back their ballot as soon as possible. The USPS delivery standard is 3 to 7 days, so please do not procrastinate. Some ballots require notary, some do not. If you have an absentee ballot and the reason for voting it is that you're sick or disabled or caring for somebody who's sick or disabled, or you're at risk for coronavirus, you do not require a notary. Everybody else requires a notary. Get it back as soon as possible.
All right, another question that we've had here at the KMOV newsroom, who is eligible to vote absentee? Do you have to state that you're going to be out of town on Election Day, or could you just decide to vote absentee in person because it's more convenient for you?
In Missouri, unlike Illinois, in Missouri, you have to have a reason for voting by absentee ballot, whether it's through the mail or in person. So the reasons, just to run down a very quick list, are if you're out of the county on Election Day, if you're sick or disabled or caring for somebody who's sick or disabled, you have a religious belief that prevents you from voting on Election Day, you're working for the election board, or you're at risk for coronavirus. If you fit one of those at-risk categories, you'll also qualify. Any of those people can come in person and vote absentee.
And do you have to sign an affidavit to list your reason, or do you just state that when you arrive at the election board?
Yeah, you state it, your reasons recorded in the poll book, and then you sign the poll book attesting to what you stated is true.
All right, something different this year. If you live in St. Louis County, you do not have to vote at your specific polling location where you're registered to vote. So if you live in Chesterfield, you can vote in Hazelwood. Is that correct? And why is that being done?
Well, for two reasons. One, we purchased new voting equipment late last year in 2019, and it now gives us the technological capability to do that. With the old equipment, we couldn't have done it even if we wanted to. But also in response to the coronavirus, we knew that we weren't going to have as many polling places as we've had in the past, and two, we didn't know what was going to happen with the virus. Maybe the virus had an uptick. Some polling places might not open, something like that. So we wanted as much flexibility as possible. We want voters to have as much flexibility in these trying times.
All right, and one other point I want to bring up with you before we let you go. You guys have an app that is designed to let voters know about wait times at the polling location where they might want to go and vote. Is that up and running right now? And how do you expect that to operate on Election Day?
So we have designated people at each polling location. It's up and running right now, even for the satellite absentee offices. But on Election Day, we have designated people at each location that will have the app on their phone, and they will, every so often, they will count how many people are in line. And it gives voters, if they log onto our website, they can see how many people are in line at each polling place.
All right, Eric Fay, the Democratic Director of Elections for St. Louis County. We know you're a busy man. You're about to get a lot busier over the next week and the days after that. So thank you so much for joining us today with this information that's valuable to our viewers.
Sure thing.